Hey everyone, this is Dean with DCA Crypto. Got some red in the market right now. I'm going to share with you what my plan is for this red market and how I'm handling it, how maybe you want to consider handling it with your portfolio. Got some people a little bit, I guess, afraid right now because their portfolio's down in some aspects, up to 50% in some of their coins. So I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel, smash that like button, and let's jump into it. All right, so we've had some red in the market over the last couple days here. Bitcoin had a bit of a correction. Solana had a pretty decent correction. A lot of alts having a pretty big correction over the last few days. So I'm going to cover that in this video, kind of what my strategy is right now, how I'm handling it. I've had some people that are worried about their portfolios because some of their coins are down 50% or more on some of them. So let's jump into it here. All right, so the total crypto market cap, just over 2.5 trillion, down from about 2.9 trillion a few months ago. So we've had a fairly decent correction in the market. We're getting close to the halving here, and typically around the halving we see some volatile times in the market, and we've been going up and up and up and broke a new all-time high before the halving, which has never happened before. And I've been saying on my channel, I'm expecting some kind of correction here around the halving, and we're starting to see some of that. Now the question is, will this correction continue, or are we gonna just kind of go sideways from here and then pick up? I'll kind of get into what I think is going to happen here in the video here and give you my opinion on it. But I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know for sure. Nobody and anyone telling you they know for sure, is really, they have no idea what they're talking about. It's all speculation at this point because the market has been very strange. So if you look at Ethereum, it's down to $3,200. It was over, I think, $4,000 at one point here over the last few months, and now we've had a bit of a correction on that too. So that's almost a 25% correction on Ethereum. Solana down to it got down to like $140. And if you look at Avalanche, down to $39. Bitcoin Cash has had almost a 20% correction. Polkadot's had a decent correction. Chainlink down to $15. ICP down to about $14. Near Protocol took a big hit. That's down 20%. Uniswaps took a really big hit because of the correction and because of the SEC giving them a Wells notice. Basically, Wells notice is kind of like a heads up that we're probably going to sue you or take you to court over some legal issue. So that's typically how they've handled it in the past. The Wells notice comes first, and then the lawsuit comes later. So we'll have to see what happens with Uniswap. They are under attack right now. That's why they're down almost, about 30%. So that's what's going on with that one here. Filecoin took a big hit too, down over 20%. This is a pretty solid play for, if you're looking for something for your portfolio, you might want to add. Render down quite a bit, down to $8. HBAR's down under 9 cents again. Arbitrum's had a decent correction. A lot of these coins have had a pretty big correction recently. Injective Protocol's down, and so on and so on. Arweave, another solid play, is down. Sui's down. Celestia's down 26%. So some pretty heavy corrections in the market. I'm not too familiar with this core. That's down 40%. So had some pretty big correction in the market. So certainly some good deals out here if you're looking to add some coins to your portfolio, and I'll show you how I would plan on playing this, because you want to be careful with the market as volatile as it is. You don't want to go all in for sure. If you can, leave some dry powder in case we keep going lower, because that's a good possibility. If we look at the Bitcoin chart here, we've got this kind of big top here, and then a little bit a lower high and a lower high. Are we going to keep coming down from here before we take off? I think that's probably the likely scenario, but I don't have a crystal ball. Bitcoin's been acting really strange with this, ETF. Kind of had a white swan event where we've broken past our previous all-time high before we even got to the halving. That's never, ever happened before. We'll take a look at the chart here. So if we go back to the previous bull run, because I want to look at this and kind of show you guys what happened here, and this may be an indicator as to what could happen, or it may not. You really don't know. All we can do is kind of look at what happened in the past with the previous bull cycle, what happened, where we're at kind of here. So, if we go back, we had if we go back to 2020, we had this move up here back in 2019, and then we came down, and then we were going to start taking off, but we had this COVID event. The other halving would have been somewhere in here. You know, but the ETF has kind of thrown this all out of proportion. But if you look at this, you know, we've had this big jump up, and then what did we do? We had this big jump up, a bit of a correction, jump up, not quite as high, and a bit of a correction, came up, came down, and then we took off in the bull run. So are we going to do something like this, where we come down a little bit and then we take off? So if you go from, you know, like from here, about 42,000 down to 28,000. So if we measure that, you know, that's a pretty decent correction. So if you measure that down to here, you know, that's like a 31% correction. So will we get that 30% correction? Like I've said before, happens a lot in these cycles. If we go to here, you know, we probably had another 30% correction here, and same with here. On the way up, these corrections are pretty normal. So will we keep going up from here? It's really hard to say. You know, I can't tell you guys for sure that that's what's going to happen. My gut tells me that, you know, we had this big ETF craze, and now people are going to get bored of the market, and money's going to start flowing out of this market, and we're probably going to keep correcting from here. But that's just a guess. You know, I don't have a crystal ball, and I can't tell you what's going to happen. If I just had to guess, though, my gut tells me that, you know, we would probably come down to, you know, the 50 or 60,000 range, and then maybe take off into this bull run later this year. That's kind of what my gut is telling me is going to happen, but, you know, I don't know for sure. And nothing on my channel is financial advice, guys. I'm just sharing with you my personal opinion. Don't base your trades off from what I'm telling you on this video, because I don't know for sure what's going to happen. My honest advice to you guys, and nothing on my channel is financial advice, but if it were me and I was wondering what to do, my portfolio, you know, maybe some of you bought these coins recently and your portfolio is down some, you know, I told you, make sure that you save some dry powder, because, you know, we can definitely keep correcting from here, because we've been pumping up in this market for a long time, and we've been due for a serious correction. So me personally, I would try to find some funds to add some more to my portfolio at lower prices, if these prices are lower than what you purchase it at. But if you purchase them even lower than where they're at now and you're still up on your coins, me personally, I'm just holding, and I'm not adding to any coins right now that I'm already in profit on. But if there's some that are down quite a bit and they're around the same price that I picked them up at, you know, I would probably start adding more to my portfolio at these lower prices, because I think that eventually we're going to take off into that main bull run and the profits will be huge on these, especially a lot of the gaming plays that are down a lot. I mean, you got some of them that are down, you know, more than 60% or so from where they were just a few months ago. And, you know, there's some really good buys out there. If you go to the Bitcoin rainbow chart here, you know, we're almost to the halving. The halving, you know, it should be coming up here in about a week or so. About a week from today, actually. And, you know, we could keep coming down into this, you know, lower light blue area, or even the dark blue area, into the 50-some thousand range towards the middle of the year. And then maybe we take off into that big bull run towards the end of this year and into 2025. Now, some people think that the bull run's going to go until late 2025. I would be careful of that. Me, seriously, if I'm seeing $100,000 Bitcoin, I'm going to start taking out some serious profits on all of my coins and leave some in case we keep going higher from there, for sure. But I'm going to start cashing out a good chunk of my coins once we get around that $100,000 range and see some alts taking off. That's kind of my strategy right now, and I'll share with you guys if that changes or not, but that's kind of what I'm planning on right now. I'm just holding. Most of my coins are in profit right now. I don't think any of my coins are at a loss right now, because I was buying most of them early last year, and my money, since the coins popped up, I switched my strategy from buying coins at low prices. When the market pumped up towards the end of last year and early this year, I started taking profits out and moving those profits into ICOs, IDOs, pre-sales, coins that haven't even launched yet, because when the market corrects like this, it doesn't affect the price of those coins because you're already buying them cheaper than what they're going to launch at when they launch. So, you know, any of that have launched, you know, since then, which a few of them of mine have, like Portal and that, they're currently in profit. So I'm not down on any of my coins right now, but a lot of you out there I know did purchase your coins at some of these more recent prices, and that's why I don't like to tell people to buy Solana on stuff at $200, where everybody else out there is telling me I'm stupid for cashing mine out. I'm more careful, and I try to purchase them lower, and then as they increase in price, I try to take some profits out on them. But most of my coins I haven't taken profits out on, just a few of them, because they pumped so much in a short period of time that I felt, you know, it's time to take some profits out on those. But most of mine I've just been holding and waiting for higher prices. If they come down below my buying zone for some reason, I'll probably pick more of them up to get my dollar cost average down. But I got most of them at such a good price last year that I don't see the market getting that low again until maybe the next bear cycle. But I could be wrong. You know, I don't have a crystal ball, but typically, you know, when you're buying in the bear market like I was buying last year, you know, typically we're not going to see prices like that again until, you know, next bear cycle. But anything could happen, and we could see that, especially with the SEC issuing out Wells notices and stuff to DEXs. That could have a bad impact on this market. If we go to the Bitcoin halving countdown here, you know, we've got about a little over 7 days as of this recording. So, you know, April 20th, right around, you know, it's saying UTC time 19, so that's like 7:44 p.m. UTC time, is the current prediction for when the halving will actually occur. So it should happen on 4/20. So we'll have to see what happens with that. You know, we might correct even more after that for a little bit, and then we take off later this year. That's kind of what's happened in the past. If you look at the previous cycles here, you know, last time we came up early, and then we came down by the halving. So that's kind of off, but here we came up right before the halving and then had a little bit of a correction, you know, after it, and then we took off. But typically we get some kind of little bit of a correction after the halving, and then we take off into the main bull run. So hopefully that's the case this time around. It's just a matter of, you know, will we get that correction or not? These Bitcoin ETFs, they kind of throw everything off, so we don't know. There's going to be a scarcity in Bitcoin, and with that demand being there for the ETFs, maybe we don't come down much lower. Maybe we do. We'll have to see. If my gut tells me we're going to come down a little bit lower before we go into that main bull run, but that's just a guess. So that's pretty much how I'm handling it right now. If you're down on your portfolio, you know, me personally, I would try to grab some at these lower prices to get my dollar cost average down. And if we continue to go lower, I would try to have some dry powder available to buy at even lower prices if that happens. That's typically what I was doing last year during the bear market, and anytime we got a big correction on something, I just bought at even lower prices, and then once we started taking off, I started taking out some profits on them. But that's pretty much what I got for this video, guys. That's how I'm playing this right now with this market. Don't forget to check out my free Telegram group. The link is in the description below and the pinned comment. You can just scroll through there and check that out. I've got a bunch of node projects that I've covered videos on recently. If you guys want to check those out and purchase those nodes, I've got all of the links to those in the description below, and those are, you know, some great projects that are going to be launching soon, and you can get those nodes still at fairly reasonable prices on some of those, and, you know, get some of these coins earned and accrued before they even launch the token. And I've got all the videos on those node links in the description below if you want to check those out. And if you use my referral code, it does help out my channel a little bit, so I do appreciate that. And then you'll get your own referral code as well, where you can refer friends, family, community members, or whatever, and get a little bit from their referral as well if they purchase using your code. So I appreciate it, guys. We'll see you on the next video.
Tell me what you want, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me what you want, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me.